Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on YGO Duels. Today we have a little bit of a different deck for you guys. I have Cubics. So if we go ahead and jump right into the deck profile, I have 3 copies of Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord, 1 copy of Lava Golem, get rid of those pesky monsters and burn your opponent for a little bit, 3 copies of Duza, basically a Foolish Burial and Foolish Burial Goods, really good card for the deck. Triple copy of Ash Blossom, triple Vajam. Vajam's really good at stalling your opponent, which this deck it likes to play slow. So having the Vajam on your field is really good. 3 copies of Numeron Wall, 3 copies of Cubic Wave, 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods, 1 copy of Upstart, 2 Numeron Callings, 1 copy of Memories of Hope, 2 copies of Twin Twister, 1 copy of Cubic Dharma, 3 copies of Cubic Karma, 3 copies of Numeron Network, 1 copy of Impermanence in the main deck, 3 copies of Unification of the Cubic Lords, 1 copy of Cubic Causality, 2 copies of Torrential Tribute, 1 copy of Cubic Rebirth, and 3 copies of Solemn Strike. Moving on to the extra deck, we have 2 copies of Crimson Nova Trinity, the Dark Cubic Lord, 1 copy of Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon, 1 copy of number C1 Numeron Chaos Gate Sunya, 2 copies of Numeron Gate Katvari. I'm going to try to pronounce these to the best of my ability. 2 copies of number 1 Numeron Gate Ekam. 2 copies of Numeron Gate DVE. I don't know if it's DVE or if it's Div. I don't know. 2 copies of Numeron Gate Trini. And then we have a single copy of Infinitrack Fortress Megaclops, 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, and a single copy of Nightmare Phoenix. Onto the side deck, we have 2 copies of Summoner Monk. I had this in the main deck at first. I didn't really like it too much, so I go ahead and put him in the side deck just in case if I ever want to throw him in there, because he is good to get out Duza and send some cubic cards to the graveyard sometimes. 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 copy of Twin Twister, 3 copies of Mystic Mine, 2 copies of Impermanence, 3 copies of Summon Limit, and 3 copies of Judgment. So that does it for the deck profile. Let's go hop right into the duels. So jumping right into the first duel, and it looks like I'm going up against a Dragon Maid deck. I've never played against one, so I'm not too familiar with the deck, but it was definitely fun to play against. So he uses this effect. I think it sends a spell to the graveyard, and then he gets it back to hand, activates it again, and summons the Dragon Maid Xiao. I think I'm saying that right. Xiao's effect was interesting. I definitely had a play to like kind of get around it, or at least get him to do what I wanted him to do. So I go ahead and activate Cubic Karma. He's going to negate that, which I don't mind because now I get the free search. With already having one of my Cubic Lords on the field, now I have 2 of them. Use Cubic Wave to double my attack, and to have his, I'm going to go ahead and send Unification to the grave, just in case if he destroys one of my monsters, I'll be able to get an invincible one out for this turn. He tries to use the effect on my Cubic Lord, but it doesn't work because the attack is original attack of that monster is 3,000. So I'm able to get a quick, easy OTK there with a big 6,000 and 3,000 beaters, and I had the 3,000 burn on end phase if need be, but didn't even need it. So good game 1. Alright, on to duel number 2, and it looks like I'm going up against some sort of god deck. This was an interesting one, but I should really call this deck a Cubic Numeron deck because the Numerons really played a huge role in a lot of the duels, as you'll see in this one. So I use my Numeron Network to activate my Numeron Calling, special summon all my XYZs. He has Nimamanga on his field, so he's going to gain a lot of life points, but the effects of these Numeron XYZs is pretty crazy when you have the field spell out. I'm just able to double my attack over and over again, and soon they're all at 8,000 attack. Had he not had Nimble Mamunga, that would have been over. But so I summon C1 Numeron Chaos Gate Sunya to hope that hopefully he's not going to be able to OTK me. He doesn't. Sets monster and passes. Special summon my monster, burn him for 3,000. That's the end of the game. This deck's definitely a little bit cheeky, but I kind of like it. Alright, on to duel number 3, and I'm going up against looks like a zombie, I think it was a Lightsworn zombie deck, so like an Eldritch Lightsworn deck. Go for my little cheeky play of summoning all my XYZ monsters, and I actually get to use Memories of Hope there. I actually got to use that a few times. Very broken card with the Numerons, just get 4 XYZs, and then you get to draw 4 cards. So I summon Megaclops, and then I go ahead and pass after setting my 2 strikes. He's going to mill some cards at, I think it was right into his hand. Start setting all of the Golden Land traps. Special summons his Eldritch, uses Raiden. I'm going to Veiler it. which I actually forgot. I had Valor in the deck. I ended up taking it out later. So he summons his Link Monster. I'm going to strike it a little preemptively just because I had another strike, which I was able to use on the Golden Lord, so I wasn't too worried. And he has an open field. He has all those traps, but I'm not too worried here. Summon Crimson Nova. He's going to activate his traps. Going to get his Eldritch back on the field. I'm going to use Duza. Going to send Karma to the graveyard. Use Karma's effect to search out another Cubic Lord, which I'm going to then summon. So I have a lot of damage here on the field. So he's going to try his best to try and defend himself. I'm going to attack over his monster and his trap. Then I'm going to attack directly with the Cubic Lord, the Megaclops, and the Duza for game. So this deck definitely can pump out a lot of damage. So yeah, if the other player isn't careful or doesn't have good defense, it might as well just be GG. Alright, on to the next duel, and it looks like I'm going up against a Dark Magician deck, which with the new support is going to be very, very good. So I'm going to go for my standard play of activating Numeron Network, and then using the Calling to get out Megaclops, and I also get Foolish Burial Goods, so I can send my Karma and search out my Vajam. This is actually a really strong play in this deck that I used a few different times, where I get Megaclops on the first turn, set Vajam, and set some traps, and it just completely shuts down the opponent because they're not expecting the Vajam, and then I'm able to... granted, I had like 10 different negations, so this was good. I got to negate the Anaconda, I got to use the Ash Blossom, and I used the Strike. So I'm just going to attack over the Anaconda, make sure he doesn't have that on the field anymore, and then I'm going to have to pass. I don't really have much else I can do. He draws his Red Eyes and has to pass, so I'm going to attack for 4,000 again, get him down to 500 life points, and I have an Ash Blossom in hand, so I'm happy about that. I get one more negation, he activates Preparation of Rites, and I go ahead and negate it again. I think that was 5 total negates in 3 turns, and he just scoops after that. I mean, not much he could have done. I would have won anyway the very next turn. But against a pretty meta deck, I was able to shut it down for the most part. Granted, I had everything I needed for it, but still, that was a fun duel. Hopping into the last duel, and I'm going up against the Dark Magician deck again. I actually was able to get a match in against this deck, which I was happy about. A lot of people didn't want to play a full match, so I was playing a lot of singles. But so I get into this duel, and he is using, Magician's Rod effect right there, and then he special summons his Magician's Soul, uses the Magician's Soul's effect, and then he summons Anaconda. Here I was thinking he's about to drop Dragoon on me, but he actually summons the Dark Magicians, which is still a good card, but I think Dragoon's a little bit better, but I was okay with that. I used Foolish Burial Goods, send my Karma to the graveyard, use Karma to search out my Cubic Lord. I'm going to summon my Duza, and he's going to use Impermanence on it. I thought that was a little questionable, considering he could have used it on my Crimson Lord, but I go ahead and activate Crimson Wave, have his Fusion Monsters attack, and then I use his effect after he destroys Anaconda to attack again, and that's game. So this deck definitely pumps out a heap load of damage, and if you're not careful, it will OTK you, and I think it catches a lot of people off guard with that. They don't expect it, especially with his effect and all that with the monsters. Monsters can't really do much to him, so... yeah, this was a good match against the Dark Magicians. Alright, so after wrapping up all the duels, I've decided that this deck, the damage potential is crazy, but the consistency and the speed just isn't there. You really have to rely on cards like Vajam and cards like Unification in the graveyard and the Numerons and Megaclops to really hope that they'll hold out and that you'll be able to OTK your opponent on the next turn, because otherwise you're probably going to lose. Cards like Ash Blossom 2 really shut down stuff like Duza and Karma, which hurts, and it took me a while to find like the perfect, in quotes, recipe for this deck. I tried so many different things, so many different like cards in the deck, like Summoner Monk was in the deck at one point. I had a Valor in there at one point, decided 3 Ash Blossoms instead. I had some Judgments in the main deck and decided 3 Strikes were better. Rebirth and Causality weren't even in the original deck, but I decided that I'd put them in there, mainly for the name for Crimson Nova, but also maybe I could possibly use their effect if need be. Oh, and Dharma too. I actually really liked having Dharma in the main deck. It's a pretty good spell card for the cubics. The Numerons definitely help. They keep the deck a little bit more consistent. Being able to summon all those XYZs and get out Megaclops, is really powerful. Lava Golem can save you every now and then, but yeah, I don't know. The deck, it's not gonna be meta. Like it might surprise some people because they're not expecting it, but it's never gonna be a meta deck unless they give some sort of crazy support to it, which I don't see happening. But anyways, so the deck ended up, I played a couple more duels with it, ended up with a record of 8-7, 8 wins, 7 losses, and it mainly, actually, that was toward the end after I changed the recipe a few times. It actually went on a pretty good win streak, and it was nice to see it win a few more times, because it was losing a little bit in the beginning, and I didn't like it too much, but I found a good recipe that's a little bit more consistent. And for the rating, I'll give the deck a 5.5 out of 10. Notice it is a 45 card deck. It's not 40. I tried doing 40. It just, I didn't like it. It seemed like I just needed some more cards in there. Solemn Strike definitely comes in handy. The One of Impermanence. The Summon Limit is a huge card too in the side deck. That actually won me a few games. But yeah, overall, the deck's fun. It's strong, but it's not consistent or fast, and that's my problem with it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I actually am considering making the deck in real life and taking it to some locals just to see if I can surprise some people and seeing if I can get some cheeky OTKs. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. If you have any changes that you'd make to the deck, let me know. And if you guys want to see any other content in the future, let me know. I'm gonna buy some, what is it, the Battle of Chaos? Is that the new set that's about to come out? So if you guys want to see a pack opening or something like that, let me know in the comments below, and I can definitely record that. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.